Good morning, children. Welcome to the next class of botany. In today's class, we are going to study, we are continuing with the lesson plant tissue culture. In that, we are going to study the topic intellectual property right or IPR. Now, as we know, in the field of biotechnology, numerous research works are done through the genetic engineering, through genetic manipulation, gene manipulation, or through protoplasmic fusion, or through plant tissue culture. So, the person who is conducting this research is said to be the owner. So, his research work is said to be the property that the person who is doing the research, and the result of that research, the researcher is the owner of that research work. So here he has a right to protect his research from being misused by others. So they have a right over their research. How they can get this right? Either through copyright or through patent or the product of the research work. They cannot be shared, or the person who is holding this wants to share it. Okay, so here it also prevents the trade secrets, publicity rights, moral rights, and right against unfair competition. So without the knowledge of the researcher or the owner of that research work, it cannot be shared. Just you can imagine this with a person owning a house. The house is registered in the name of that owner. Without the knowledge of that person, nobody can utilize that house, or nobody can go and stay in that unless and until the owner gives the permission of that usage of that house. So similarly here also, the research work done by a researcher is the property of that person, and that research work is under the full control of that researcher or the person through this right, and this right is said to be the intellectual property right, because this person has created this work through his knowledge, through his thinking. So it is said to be an intellectual property right. So in biotechnology, the transformed microorganism and plants and technologies for the production of commercial products are exclusively the property of the discoverer. So here in the field of biotechnology, the transformed microorganism, as we know, through genetic manipulation, manipulating the genes, we are modifying the microorganism or the plants. Okay, we are applying the technologies for getting better yield, commercially useful products we are getting. So the right over this property is only in the hands of the discoverer. The discoverer has the full right on his property. It should not be neglected by others without legal permission. Without the legal knowledge, or without the proper knowledge of the discoverer, it cannot be used by anybody else. The right of discoverer must be protected, and it does by certain laws framed by a country. So here the discoverer's research work can be protected by the laws framed by that government of that country. IPR is protected by different ways. So here this intellectual property, they are being protected in different ways. That is through patents or copyrights or trade secrets or trademarks or the designs and geographical indications. So here we are going to study in detail about the patents now. So here before that we can see the IPR in India, it has a these are the following intellectual property rights given in the form of patent or the trademark, the copyright, or plant breeders right, that is new modified plants are developed, that the plant which is being developed, that is also the developer who has developed that plant has the right over that plants. The utility or the model of the design, that is the design of particular machinery or that art object is also can be protected. Then geographical indications, what are the geographical areas where it can be used, the trade secrets, these are all the rights which is protected from an intellectual property right in India. So in detail we are going to study about the patents. Now, it is a special right to the discoverer or inventor that has been granted by the government through legislation for trading new articles. So, here, patent is a special type of right which is given to the discoverer or the inventor by the government through certain rules and regulations for trading the articles. A patent is a personal property which can be licensed or sold by a person or organization just like any other property. So patent is a personal property. As a person has owns a house, he has the right whether to keep it or whether to sell it or whether to give it as a rent or give it in a lease. Similarly, a discoverer has a right to give the license or sell it. Okay, he can give the license other people to use that article or object through license, or he can even also sell it like an or other property. Patent terms give the inventor the rights to exclude others from making, using, or selling his invention. So, a person who has got this right, this patent over the article or the object what he has invented, he cannot, the others cannot make it or use it or sell it without the knowledge of the inventor. It is difficult to keep secret in certain inventions, and therefore guidance should be obtained from a qualified patent attorney. So here certain research works, okay, or certain objects which is the research what is being developed, they cannot be kept secret. So the procedures they can be patented through a patent attorney. A patent consists of three parts. They are the grant, specification, and claims. So you have to remember this. The patent, there are three parts are there. So the three parts are grant, specification, and claims. So the grant is filled at patent office which is not published. So here this grant is done in the patent office, okay, and this is not published. It is a signed document, actually the agreement that grants patent right to the inventor. So here in the patent office the document is being signed by the inventor, okay. So here that is said to be the grant, and this grant is not made public. Next is the specification and claims. Specification and claims are published as a single document. So specification and claims, they are uh, published, which is made public from the patent office. The specification part is narrative, in which the subject matter of the invention is described and how the invention was carried out. So here the specification deals with the explanation of what the research is done and how it is being done and what is the purpose of doing that research. Next, the claim. The claim specifically defines the scope of the invention to be protected by the patent which the others may not practice. So the claim, only the inventor or the discoverer has a right over his uh, invention. Okay, so he prevents, this claim prevents others from misusing his property. So here the patent, it consists of three parts: the grant, specification, and claims. So grant is a documentation, it's a signed document made in the patent office, and this document is not made public. It's an agreement done in the patent office with the inventor. Next is the specification and the claim. So specification and claim, it is a documentation, signed documentation, and this document it is published. In specification, the explanation is given what for the research is done and how the research was done, okay, and how it is useful. Claim is the researcher only has the right over his invention, his or her invention, and nobody can misuse it. So these are the three parts of the patent. Next we will be studying, that is, there are steps involved in the patenting. So here the discoverer or the invention, so primary appraisal, filling the patent in the office of the controller of the patent, The further, so here this is the assessment is done or the license negotiation is done. Further patenting abroad, uh, then grant or refusal of the patent. So can whether the patent can be given or not, that is being done there. Enforcement of the approved patent. If the inventor has given the patent, if it is accepted, then that is given an approval here. As said, the patenting can be done according to the rules of that particular country. In our country, a patent is given only for 5 years, whereas in America, the patenting is done for 17 years. A patent right is given for 17 years. Next, we are going to study about the biosafety and bioethics. Now, here, advances in the biotechnology and their applications are mostly associated with controversies. Now, here, new research works are done with the advancement of biotechnology, new informations are developed. So, there is some controversies are there. This is because the major part of the modern biotechnology deals with genetic manipulation. So here mostly it is done through the and in the field of biotechnology it mostly deals with the genetic manipulation, gene manipulation is done. So here there are chances for the development of better organism, useful organism, or there are also chances for the development of any harmful or hazardous organism. So LC, which represents ethical, legal, and social implications of biotechnology, broadly covers the relationship between biotechnology and society. So, here, this branch of biotechnology, that is LC, which deals with the relationship between the biotechnology, that is the application of technical knowledge in the living organism by the manipulation of genes, and what is the impact of this research in the society with particular reference to the ethical and legal aspects. So here it is when the biotechnology, when the researches are done, so the result of that research, whether it is useful or harmful to the society, is being checked by this LC, that is ethical, legal, and social implications. So the research what is published, whether it is useful or whether it is harmful to the society, is being checked here. So first let's study about the biosafety. Biosafety is the prevention of large-scale loss of biological integrity, focusing both on ecology and human health. So here this biosafety, it deals with the biological integrity, that is there is a balance is being maintained between the ecology as well as the human health. There is no harm is being done to the environment or the ecosystem, as well as there is no threat to the human health. This prevention mechanism includes conduction of regular reviews of the biosafety in laboratory settings as well as strict guidelines to follow. So here this biosafety mechanism includes conduction of regular review. So continuously they will keep on monitoring whether the research what is being done, whether it has any harmful effect in the society, in the ecosystem as well as in the human health. Biosafety is used to protect from harmful incidents. Many laboratories handling biohazards employ an ongoing risk management assessment and enforcement process for biosafety. So, for this biosafety, so where the research biohazardous researches are going on, there is continuously an assessment is done. Failures to follow such protocols can lead to the increased risk of exposure to biohazards or pathogens. So here, if this protocols, if the steps protocols, that is the procedures, are not led properly, that can lead to the exposure of biohazards or pathogens. That is the organisms what being developed. Gas. So any harm can be seen, that is any disease can, pathogens can cause any diseases there, or any major exposure to hazards and compromise the best is for protection. So here we can see the and consideration for safety aspects. Toxicity of living organism. Pathogenicity means disease causing nature of the living organisms. So the disease causing nature by living organisms or by virus, either naturally or because of the genetic modification on human life, animals and plants. So this can be checked through biosafety. Toxicity of allergy associated with microbial production. So here any toxic substance is being produced which is allergic to the other organisms through this microbial products, that is also being checked through biosafety. Increasing number of antibiotic resistant pathogenic microorganism. So here, so disease causing organisms, they are increasing the antibiotic resistance. Problems associated with the disposal of spent microbial biomass and purification of the effluent from the biotechnological process. So here we also check, that is the waste what is being sent out through this biological laboratories, or the microbial waste. Those effluents are also being disposed properly. Next, safety aspects associated with contamination, infection or mutation of process strains. So here, after that is the researching or organisms which is being used, the strains what is being used, they are not contaminated, they are not infected, or they are not undergoing any mutations, that is also checked here. Safety aspects associated with the industrial use of microorganism containing in vitro recombinants. So here even the safety is checked in the industry when these microorganisms, the microorganisms which are raised in the laboratories, when they are used in the industrial purpose also, they are not bringing any harms there. So biosafety guidelines are being implemented by three institutions here. So this biosafety is controlled by three institutions. These institutions are the Institutional Biosafety Committees, IBSCs, monitor research activity at institutional level. Next, the Review Committee or Genetic Manipulation, RCGM, functioning in the Department of Biotechnology, DBT, monitors the risky research activities in the laboratories. So here the various committees or various organizations, they keep on monitoring over the research works. First one what we have studied about the IBSCS, IBSCS, that is they have a check on over the institutional level. Next, Department of Biotechnology also keeps a check over the research what activities going on in the lab. Next, the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee of Ministry of Environment and Forest has the power to permit the use of genetically modified organism at commercial level and open field trials of transgenic material including agricultural crops, industrial products and healthcare products. So genetically, the role of the genetically modified organisms which is developed also does what is the role, what is the impact over of these organisms in the commercial levels or in the agricultural field, that is also being monitored. So these are the organization or the institutions which keep over a biosafety check over the researchers. Next, bioethics. Bioethics, that is the ethical, legal and social implementation. It refers to the study of ethical issues emerging from the advances in the biology and medicine. It is also a moral discernment as it relates to the medical policy and practice. Bioethics are concerned with the ethical questions that arise in relationships among the life sciences, biotechnology, and medicines. It includes the study of values relating to primary care and other branches of medicine. The scope of bioethics is directly related to the biotechnology, including cloning, gene therapy, life extension, human genetic engineering, astroethics, life in space, and manipulation of basic biology through altered DNA, RNA, and proteins. So, here, as we have studied, mostly the research is done by the manipulation of the genes. In biotechnology, mostly it is the gene manipulation. So here it is seen that it does not affect the living organisms. Okay. So here, as we are doing the using this biotechnology is being applied in cloning purpose, in gene therapy, that is certain disease which is affected to the malfunctioning of the genes, that is being corrected here, so that the life extension is taking place. So human genetic engineering is done. Astroethics, life in space is being monitored, manipulation of the basic biological through alteration in the DNA. So all this is being checked by the bioethics. These developments in biotechnology will affect future evolution. So he has here studied, that is we are manipulating the genetic material. So there are chances that in the future the evolution process may be affected and may require new principles such as biotic ethics that values life and its basic biological characters and structures. So bioethics takes care, that is it is not affecting the evolution process, that is in the future the organisms what we have through this manipulation, they will not lead to any drastic or harmful changes. The Ethical, Legal and Social Implication program was founded in 1990 as an integral part of the Human Genome Project. The mission of the LC program was to identify and address issues raised by genomic research that would affect individuals, families, and society. So, the impact of the biotechnology in the society, that is also being checked here. The percentage of the Human Genome Project budget at the National Institute of Health and US Department of Energy has devoted to LC research. The ethical issues in genomic research, privacy and fairness in the use of genetic information, including the potential for genetic discrimination in employment and insurance. The integration of new genetic technologies such as genetic testing into the practice of clinical medicines. So these are the ethical issues in which is being considered in the genomic research. Ethical issues surrounding the design and conduct of the research with people, including the process of informed consent. Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee GEAC is an apex body under Ministry of Environment for regulating manufacturing, use, import and export and storage of hazardous microbes or genetically modified organisms and cells in the country. So here this GEAC has a control over the manufacturing, use and import of the hazardous microbes or the genetically modified organisms. So they keep check over this modified organism they are manufacturing. It was established as an apex body to accord approval of activities involving large scale use of hazardous microorganisms and the recombinants in research and industrial production. So here this organization is keeping a check, that is when the genetically modified organisms are being created, these organisms are beneficial, they are not hazardous to the mankind or to the society. The GEAC is also responsible for the approval of proposals relating to release of genetically engineered organisms and products into the environment, including experimental field trials. So here they also make a field trials, then only these genetically modified organisms are released. The future of biotechnology. Biotechnology has become a comprehensive scientific venture from the point of academic and commercial angles. Within a short time, with the sequencing of human genome and genome of some important organism. So, as we have studied this biotechnology, as we have studied about the role of the genes, the sequencing of the genes. So here valuable role of biotechnology is there in the society now. The future development in biotechnology will be existing. Thus, the development in biotechnology will lead to a new scientific revolution that would change the lives and future of people. As we have seen through biotechnology, we can do many useful works as we are able to do by the genetic modification. We are able to protect the plants from certain diseases. Okay, we are able to cure some diseases in human beings. The defect in the gene can be rectified. So this even we can prevent the oil pollution and the water pollution. Okay, so with the help of this genetically modified organism, we can increase the yield, we can protect the crop from getting disease. So here many ways this biotechnology is useful. Okay, so here this is, so it is said that this biotechnology can bring about a scientific revolution like industrial revolution and computer revolution. Biotechnology will also promise major changes in many aspects of modern life. The only thing here it is, as we are modifying the organism, it should be kept in mind that it is always for the betterment and it is not causing any harm or hazard to the ecosystem or to the human health. Till then, whatever the research work is done, it is only for the beneficial. So here as we have studied, the research works is done anywhere, so it is also being monitored by various organizations. So here in this topic we studied about the person who is having done the research is said to be the owner of that. So he has a his research is a property, so he has an intellectual property right, so he can has a copyright over it, he has a patent over it, he can has a trade secret. So all the control is there through this intellectual property right, because he has developed this through his knowledge or his thinking. Next we have studied about how the patent is done. Next we have studied that is, even though the biotechnology is being done, it should have the safety in the society and it should have some bioethics also. So that we have studied in today's topic. Hope you have understood this. We'll continue with the next topic in the next lesson. Thank you, children.